What is a thing considered lower middle class that you'd continue doing even if you became wealthy? Taking public transit helps the environment, and even if I do eventually get a license, I can't imagine driving being a pleasant experience. Plus, my taxes are going to it whether I use it or not, so I might as well use it. Coordinate my furnishings and keep my house tidy. We lived amongst serious old money on a military officer's patch. Old money has impeccable manners and doesn't give a stuff about their stuff. Everything they own was antique, expensive, but broken or covered in dust. I always wanted to emulate them, but I couldn't get past how I was brought up: conform, keep a neat home, care about stuff, eating fast food from the rough part of town, pound for shawarmas, amazing fried chicken, Chinese restaurants where you're the only English guy, little Greek cafes with cheap gyros. Souvlaki. It's cheaper than shopping. In fact, my wife and I doing okay, joint income of just over £100,000. We eat out around 5 nights a week. I still want a smaller house. Big mansions do not impress me. Even if I could afford the extra costs, utilities, plus furnishings, etc. With having a larger home, I don't want one. I don't want to live in a broom closet, of course, but a cozy little house or cottage is good enough for me. I don't know if it counts as lower middle class or just plain middle class, but cars. There is no amount of money where I would ever feel good buying a Range Rover or a Mercedes or any brand that is notorious for high maintenance costs. I'm all about that Subaru Honda life. Bought an old van for $4,000, fixing it up and converting it into a camper. Have bought 2 brand new Mercedes Sprinters for the amount I lost in the stock market last couple weeks. But I still get more satisfaction out of doing things myself instead of throwing money at things. Raise and butcher my own livestock. I love knowing that the animals I raise receive the best care and the most humane treatment possible right up to the last minute. I know what goes into my food. I know that it was produced ethically. I know that my family is being taken care of. Eating DiGiorno pizzas. I live in a nice building in NYC, and even my doorman was like, "Why are you eating that crap?" I don't care how much money I have. I will continue to eat whatever tastes great. None of this teeny tiny pieces of food called a meal at high-end restaurants, lol. I have no desire at all to drive an expensive vehicle. Sure, I want something newish and reliable, but anything more than $3,000, $40,000 new is a waste. It's just transportation. Also, there's something to be said about blending into the crowd and not looking like a target. Drive a car that's just big and comfortable enough for the driving I do, but isn't a 4WD SUV monstrosity, and drive it until it became uneconomical to maintain or didn't meet my requirements, i.e. not change it every few years because I'm bored of it. On who did really? I wash my cars in my driveway with the old bucket S&G hose. I change the oil in my cars myself, and one's a Porsche, and I get on my knees and pull the weeds out of my lawn. Driving an older car. I don't like car payments or crazy insurance bills. I think if I was wealthy, I'd still drive used cars from 10 years ago. After 10 years, it's a lot easier to tell which specific modes have problems and where. Wearing the most worn-out shirts and sweats to places like the supermarket, a casual restaurant, or wherever, as long as my boxes or junk aren't visible. I couldn't care less what others think of how I'm dressed. Surprised it hasn't been said, but detailing my car by hand. Not just because I think paying for it is highway robbery, but actually doing it is somewhat therapeutic. Except now I can get only the best material. Not throwing food away. I mean, I'm not talking about forcing myself to eat. My stomach is not a trash bin. I mean trying to buy less food than I think I'm going to need. Just trying to not be wasteful. I'd still drive a Toyota. Don't need that high-end crap. Well, maybe Lexus. Bolduc spicy ramen would still be a guilty pleasure of mine. But I would have to hide it from my multimillionaire friends. I would live in the same house, An old house built completely out of code and full of repairs I did myself with zero professionalism. I would keep cleaning my own house and doing everything myself, using my budgeting app. I never changed its total allotments since my first job out of college, which made half of what I make now, although I did learn to move a larger proportion to food. I won't stop doing anything. Yes, I might not wash my dishes after every meal, but I can't miss out on the hilarious shenanigans me and my girlfriend do while cleaning the dishes. Comparing prices. Grew up super poor, and even though I'm comfortable enough now to not need to always shop around, I still will debate in the aisle over a 25-cent difference. Pay $1,000 for a phone. My $200 used Motorola is just fine. And whatever I'm supposed to be getting for the extra money isn't worth it. I don't need it, whatever it is. Fried egg, bologna and American cheese on pan-toasted bread. Ramen noodles and tuna. Domestic toolbars. All three got me through college and lean times. Shopping at thrift stores. Why pay full price for something when you can find gems for a fraction of the cost? Plus, it's better for the environment. Putting a small amount aside every week into my fun. Thrift stores live in a small home. I don't need the luxuries of a mansion. It's too big. Store brand BOGO. I'm not a snob on things other than ketchup and mayo and bed sheets. So even if I could afford name brand, I still wouldn't. Eating crap food. I like really nice food as much as anyone, but there's no amount of money that's going to make me not want a MC this $1 cheeseburger. Shopping for second-hand furniture, clothes and vehicles. Except, I'd be buying the expensive ones and collecting cool retro shit. My dogs and cats will always come from the pound shelter roadside ditch rescue. I will never spend $1,000 on a papered puppy or kitten. Through a lot of hard work and good luck, we ended up with a shitload of money. But I still act and buy anything like I'm still broke. Using coupons and shopping smart. I don't need to dress up, buy Starbucks and go to Whole Foods so I can be seen drinking it. I guess I'm considered wealthy. Still mow my own lawn, weed the flower bed, change my own oil, repair my vehicles and home, etc. Doing free fun stuff, like going to a street festival, parade, etc. Also, I'd never have a big house. I'd feel so uncomfortable. Reusing food containers that you buy at the store like yogurt, cottage cheese and reusing them until they eventually wear out. Eating fast food. Can't stand Trump. But the only thing I kind of identify with him is he likes fast food like the rest of us. Probably still cooking and enjoying Spam with rice and egg. Oh, and getting a boring Toyota. Those things are indestructible. String up a clothesline and dry everything outside, weather permitting. Dry time is cut in half and everything smells amazing. Still dress like a scruff. Money wouldn't change that. I'd definitely still like to raid the reduced section at Morrison's. The bare minimum of even being considered middle class is making 1.7 for K a year. I don't think people here make that much. Driving my Corolla around and not buy some stupidly expensive, unreliable car that costs a fortune to drive and repair. Live in the smallest house that fits my needs. I don't need a ton of space. I would move to a great location though. Thrifting for clothing and furniture. Growing my own food and cooking all of my own meals. Clearance sale sections. Put water in the hand soap to stretch out the tiny bit left. I can afford to not do that now. But I hate wasting. Not having staff. I don't know why anyone would want a house so big that they need others to clean, cook, etc. Laying on the couch with one leg on the back, the other on the floor eating a hot dog while watching BSG reruns. Yellow whoopsie donuts in the supermarket. It's impossible to walk past them without putting them in the trolley. Have a bag of bags. I could be a millionaire and still have a grocery bag filled with other grocery bags. Bring my lunches and a flask of coffee to work. I'm not paying for mediocre food and coffee on work days. We wouldn't have to eat craft dinner. But we'd still eat craft dinner, that's right, we'd just eat more. Grew up upper middle class. but will always shop clearance. It's the thrill of the hunt for me. Most of these answers are things that wealthy people also do. Nothing with being broke or middle class. Treating everyone with respect no matter how rich or poor, and I won't let money change me in that way. Be very careful when I buy expensive shit. You can get rich, but I bet you never lose the fear, lol. I've been poor all my life, and now I'm a dying man. How are you going to make me a wealthy man? Eat out less. And if I had to try to avoid ordering drinks, cause they are so damn expensive, lol, we'd still eat craft dinner. We'd just eat more. And with fancy ketchups like Dijon ketchup, avoid having servants, cleaners, gardeners, etc. I don't like rondos coming in out my house. Eat hot dogs. I love hot dogs. I don't care how broke or rich you are, hot dogs are awesome. Making stuff out of junk parts. Either art or functional stuff, sometimes functional art. Buy butcher meat on sale. Nothing better than getting 50 off steaks on a Friday night. I'm fortunate to be pretty well of these days. I still love Kraft macaroni and cheese. Mowing my lawn. I kinda like riding around on my mower while listening to audiobooks. The clearance rack feels like a coup every time I find something for a good price.